Fire up your hot rods and grab your ukuleles because we watched the Giant Gila Monster. What's up, nerds? This is Nerds versus Evil. I'm your host, Jason, and I'm joined by my amazing co-hosts, starting with the man to my right, my dad, Ken Scott. And then we got down at the bottom there, we have my brother, the Halloween guy, creator, founder of the Higbee Horror Haunt.
That's right. How's it going, white people?
And then
white people.
What is happening? We're lagging.
It sounded like you said, "What's up there, white people?"
That's what I heard.
God.
What did you say?
Damn.
Well, yeah, you saw the movie, right?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
And this is the last episode of Nerds versus Evil. And my lovely wife, Amber.
Yo.
And the only man I know that's put nitroglycerin on a bearded dragon, Chris Martin. So, guys, real quick, what did you guys think of the Giant Gila Monster?
I can't wait to watch it again.
I actually watched it 1.5 times, almost 2 times. I hadn't seen it so long, and it's a movie that anybody in the family can enjoy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, if you don't want your kids to buy lizards.
That's right. There you go.
Enjoy.
Amber, how many times you fall asleep?
Once.
I marked it down in my notes.
Damn. Every time.
Yeah.
What episode is this?
This is episode 5.
So I'm 5 for 5.
Yep.
Nice.
Well, maybe we'll find one that I can actually stay awake.
Does it need to be so bad that you'll stay awake the whole time?
It's got to be something, because
We have seen a couple of those, and you still fell asleep, but we've seen some bad ones.
Well, we watched Ed Wood last night, and I 100% fell asleep bent over like this.
Damn.
I want to say I did like this movie. I think that. Hi. I think that it is an older movie, and I think it's. Oh, hi, Remy.
Hi.
Hey, Rams.
Okay.
I think that because it takes place in the 50s, you kind of have to grade it with a little bit of a curve on that, you know?
Oh, big time.
So, yeah. All right. Well, I have the synopsis real quick. Hold on. Let's get that, and then we'll jump on in.
Somebody's stealth stat is at 0 right now.
After a couple of teenagers go missing in a small Texas town, everyone assumes they've run off to the big city. But when their bodies are found in a nearby creek, the sheriff is puzzled as to what could have killed them.
They never found the bodies, though.
Chase Winstead, the leader of a local hot rod group, agrees to help the sheriff, and together they discover evidence of a giant lizard roaming the desert. Soon the lizard is terrorizing the town, and only Chase can stop it before it's too late.
You're damn right he's the only one that can.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay, so Amber, you got some facts for us?
I do. Bum ba da bum ba da bum ba da bum ba da bum 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 bum.
Do you like that
That's
news
awesome.
clicking?
Exactly. The Giant Gila Monster was made in 1959, released as part of a double feature with the Killer Shrews. It had a $138,000 budget, and it was filmed in Lake Dallas, Texas. Now, the giant Gila monster that you see several times throughout the film is actually a Mexican beaded lizard that was filmed on a miniature set. So it wasn't a Gila monster.
I couldn't tell.
Was it harmed at the end of this film?
I didn't see any stats about that. Hold on.
I don't think he made it.
1956. You know damn right that thing was harmed at the end of it.
They probably went through several of these lizards.
PETA was probably formed after this film.
This movie, yeah, is how PETA got formed.
Okay. The factoid, the opening title at the beginning of the film was made from real block letters that they actually covered with real reptile scales.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
It had a 3.6 out of 10 on IMDb and a 22% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
So
And that's what I got. No.
Oh, really? Wow.
22%?
What do they know?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, get out your notebooks. We're gonna dive into this thing. So the movie starts with a couple that we find out their names are Pat and Liz.
Yes.
They're in a car, and you just see them sitting on like a hillside, and then you hear hissing, and then you see the giant claw, and it is hilarious because the couple in the car both do this thing where they go, and then
you would.
there's no screaming or anything, and then the car is flipped down the mountain, and that is how the movie starts.
Actually,
That happens so fast.
It happens so fast. It's
yeah,
like,
they didn't even give a chance to even say. They didn't even say one line. They were gone.
no screaming. They were keeping them out of the Screen Actors Guild for sure.
But the actual intro, when the guy actually does the intro of the situation and what's going on and everything, that was actually pretty intriguing. Because the guy had a really good voice, but he was talking about what could happen here and all this type of stuff, and that was actually pretty good.
So I watched this movie last night after we got home at like 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock or something, and I only took one note.
All right, well, let me know when we get to that
need a
spot.
drum roll?
I'm going to tell you what it says. It says, movies have come a long way. Laugh out loud.
That movie's 63 years old.
I know.
Okay,
Still
so
holds up.
all right, so Martin used his one note. So now we're seeing the group of, well, not the group, but we actually see our hero now, Chase Winstead. He goes to the cafe, and he's with all his friends, and they're actually waiting for Pat and Liz to show up. While they're
with
waiting,
the gang.
yeah, they're hanging with the gang. Yeah, his old hot rod gang, I guess, greasers. And while they're sitting there waiting, we are introduced to Old Man Harris comes in.
Best character.
Clearly intoxicated. comes wandering on in to get a Pepsi. And then so after that they're gonna go to the drive-in, and they let the guy who owns the shop, they let him know, like, hey, if Pat and Liz come by, like, let him know we went to the drive-in. Just meet us there.
Okay, here's a quick side note, though. Could anybody understand what Chase's girlfriend said at all?
No.
With that French accent? Not really.
Yeah, you couldn't even understand her. What she was trying to say.
I was wondering what the choice for that was, because they worked it in that she it was visiting from France. But I don't know, I don't understand what the point or the choice, the reasoning behind that. Like, that was just,
She was trying to get her visa to stay in the States.
Okay, all right. I didn't catch that.
They mentioned she was
It's to
staying
show
with a
how
sponsor.
amazing Chase is and how much we want to fall in love with this guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dude,
He's doing everything, man.
I'll be honest. Chase Winstead is a dreamboat. That's what it is.
Okay, calm down.
Whew.
But
Calm
did you
down.
guys catch the line from Old Man Harris when he came walking in? He goes, when they're talking about the kids possibly eloping or whatever, and he goes, everyone should do it once, but not twice. About getting married.
Yeah, I think there's a second part of that. It was like getting married, and I think it was like going to New York.
Yeah, they were they wanted to buy his car.
Yeah, they wanted his car.
Yeah,
32, yeah. And I was pretty excited at the simple fact that they mentioned a drive-in.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
going to a
That's the
drive-in
drive-in.
theater.
Kids, the drive-in is you go park your car and you go, it's like going to a movie theater, but you're in your car and you listen to it through the radio.
Yeah, and usually they play two
a
movies.
stupid one speaker you'd hang on your window.
Yeah.
Crazy thing was he paid $650 something for that car.
Yeah.
$690.
21 years ago from the date of this film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they're trying to buy it off him for $100.
150.
Okay, so then now we're at the next morning, and the sheriff goes to visit Pat's dad, who tells the sheriff that his son is missing.
This guy was the worst actor by far.
Oh yeah.
The sheriff or Pat's dad?
Pat's
Both.
dad.
Yeah. But you know what? But Pat's dad, I'll tell you one thing. That guy knew how to shake a pair of glasses. That's all he did the whole time. He's talking to the sheriff. He was shaking his glasses at him the whole time. Like, holy crap.
So then after that, the sheriff is like, he tries to get some information. He said he's going to go talk to Chase. Pat's dad thinks Chase is a miscreant, but then that's when the sheriff kind of like lays it down that he's not going to tolerate anybody talking bad about Chase because Chase is a goddamn dreamboat.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Everybody's got the hots for Chase.
He works. He works really hard, and he provides for basically his mom and his sister. And he's turned his act around because they used to be part of like a greaser gang, and now they've gone straight. So the next scene is the sheriff is talking to Chase to try and get some information from him. The big theory is that they think that Pat and Liz ran off to get married.
Everyone
RUNNOFT.
And
He's like,
nice to know that back then, if you disappeared, they just thought you were running away to get married. You know.
Right.
yeah.
Got squished by
I
a
like
giant
the
Gila
number one
Monster.
question where he was all, were they in trouble?
Yeah.
Were they in trouble? And it's kind of like, well, we kind of figure, okay, so yeah, you kind of figure what that one out is, but that's pretty. I thought that was pretty funny.
So then the next scene we get is after the sheriff talks with Chase, and they're kind of like running through everything. Chase is saying that him and his buddies will go kind of keep an eye out, see if they can find him, see if they can hear anything. And so the sheriff leaves. On the sheriff's drive, he runs into Old Man Harris.
No, he goes and he talks to Liz.
They're at the house.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Yes. He talks to Liz's parents, and Liz's parents act like they're not concerned at all about her missing,
Yeah.
which is
Great acting.
It is so
Like
funny.
5 stars. 5 stars
Yeah.
for both of them.
Good job, Eb.
They're just like, I'm not even worried. And she's like, you were out driving until 5 in the morning. He's like, yeah, let's go.
She's a great girl.
That's the
She's
scene,
coming.
like, so random. Anyways, he's leaving the parents' house, and that's when he runs into Old Man Harris, and Old Man Harris is driving, and he makes him pull over so he can he goes, let me smell your breath, and he blows his breath in his face. Then he goes, all right, you can get out of here. As soon as the sheriff turns around, Old Man Harris takes a swig of booze and then keeps driving. This movie promotes driving and drinking in so many instances that it's insane to me.
And Chop Shop.
And Chop Shop, yes. The stealing of parts to cars is beyond
Evidence.
insane. Yeah.
The stealing of
evidence. You're damn
And then
right.
the sheriff's just like, oh, just take good care of them in case the owner does come back.
You know, and in case they're not dead and they come back, we need you to hang on to them parts. So then we have Chase's partner shows up, and
Okay, go.
he has what we find out he drove with cans of nitroglycerin in his front seat, and Chase
Mr. Compton.
Yeah,
Mr.
Mr. Compton.
Compton.
Yes, yeah, you're right. And Chase reams him pretty big, like, like, what are you doing? Are you insane that you're just driving around with these? So he,
Yeah, they're fine as long as they're in a nitroglycerin crate.
but they were
I
not.
took them out of the crate.
Yeah. He's like, you idiot! You could have blown yourself up. So they store the nitroglycerin in a shed, and that's when.
Chase gets the phone call.
Oh yeah, he gets the phone call of the vehicle, and
The phone call scenes are the best because you can hear people talking, but you have no idea what they're saying.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's the Charlie Brown's mom. Yep.
Yep, exactly.
I was reading something that said that the producer was actually the one who was doing those phone calls that he was trying to listen in on.
Yes, that's absolutely
Two party lines.
So Chase gets the phone call, and he and the sheriff go to investigate a wrecked car. There's lots of blood, but nobody is there.
Mhm.
They think the big theory is that they left. They left the vehicle, and there's
Yeah,
lots
check around. Yeah, I went looking all over the place.
of blood, and they just left.
They emphasized the amounts of blood there was.
Yes.
But it was
The
funny that
skid
all the
marks.
blood was in the car. There wasn't any
skid
of it
marks. The
outside.
skid marks.
They talked for 5 damn minutes about these skid marks.
Good. That didn't make sense, man.
And
Nobody would believe
and
it.
later, I don't have this in my
impossible.
notes because I didn't think that this was going to continue on. The conversation continues later, and they're like, they didn't believe me about the skid marks. And he goes, well, I saw the skid marks. The skid marks were going that way. He goes, that's what I said. Like, they
Are you
literally-
Are you
skid
gonna be
mark.
willing to testify
Yeah.
to that? Son?
I'm a
Yeah,
skid
freaking
mark
out.
I'm
expert.
lousy
man.
with a camera, so I didn't get the picture of the skid marks.
Yeah,
It came
I'm
out
lousy
blurry.
with a camera. That was the Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
Now, sorry, I was dealing with children. Did we talk about the emphasis on the nitroglycerin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Nope.
talked about the
Okay.
nitroglycerin.
Okay.
And now we get our first look at the Giant Gila Monster.
Yes.
we see a hitchhiker.
Very
out there.
well dressed
That's
hitchhiker.
where the car crashes. They just show him,
Yeah,
and then the guy,
he's firing up a cigarette, and then when he sees the Giant Gila Monster, he just falls back, terrified. He just literally like.
Taken away by it.
At this point, I said, I believe the Giant Gila Monster may be an anti-hero because he appears to be stopping people from having sex and smoking.
Yes.
And driving drunk.
It hasn't happened yet, but I think I'd touch on it again.
but you know what? But the one thing that I really liked is that anytime that the Gila Monster was going to show up, or he was in the area, the music that they used
Oh god.
for the monster was like, it would get you a little bit intense, thinking, "Oh crap, here he comes."
Tense. This music was not tense. It was
No,
not
it was.
like when you hear the Jaws theme.
Hey,
that's
In,
tense.
Well, that's
50,
different, yeah.
in 59, this was very
I,
This was
tense.
tense in
I do
50,
I
that
do
It was
agree
like
with
some
that.
weird whistling.
That was very sci-fi-esque music back then. That scared
Yeah.
the shit out of people.
That's a good
Yeah,
call. That's a
in
very good.
59, when you went and seen
good
this
call
movie,
on
you
that.
were like, oh my god, how did they do that?
It scared the shit out of people. Okay, so
Wiggling sheets of metal,
Next.
and they're like, "Oh my god!"
Chase and the sheriff find the smoker's briefcase, and then that's when Chase hears the Gila's hiss.
Okay, but seriously, they magically saw this on the side of the road, and Chase like dramatically turns his car, pulls it over, and just sees this briefcase.
And then the sheriff was right there. And how the hell did they even know this guy disappeared?
Well, we need to add that the reason Chase saw this was because he stole the other headlight. So now,
thank you,
light.
Because Chase got to the accident before the sheriff, and he did. He took the headlights off of the car that was wrecked and put them on his hot rod. And you're right, that's how he saw it.
I love his excuses. Like, I mean, they're appropriate excuses, but it's like, hey, why don't you turn on your headlights? And he was kind of like, yeah, the one's not working. And he's like, oh, I thought I told you about that twice. And he goes, well, the first one was just a suggestion.
I do have to say,
and then it was like,
I like Chase. I really like Chase.
Well, that's what he asked him. Do you have a screwdriver?
But then
he
this
goes,
is also
that's when he snags it.
The sheriff's like, you need to get a headlight, and that's when he's dropped the sob story. Well, my sister, she needs her leg braces, and I've been saving up my money so I could get her leg braces.
And the sheriff looks at the broken car and goes, hell, son, go ahead and get out your screwdriver and let's chop this thing up.
Take all this evidence. It's fine.
Take all this evidence, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so after they get the briefcase, it's the next morning, and then we're introduced to Horatio Alger Smith, a drunk, swerves off the road when he sees the Gila Monster.
You forgot about them when he went to see what's her face and they were kissing. He went and seen the girlfriend, and that's when you find out she's like from France and stuff.
I completely left that part out because I was so bored. I didn't write any of that down, which makes sense as to why you guys knew about her coming to try and get her visa, because I totally zoned out during that whole.
Well, because she was living with the people that were sponsoring her.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, yeah, I got you.
But
And
the other point that was missed here was that they find the suitcase, and then they're looking at it, and then they say, "Okay, we need to go." And then Chase just grabs it. They open up the door. And he throws it.
I was going to say,
in there
Chase takes
without
the
even
suitcase.
going. So he's sitting there saying, "Oh, there's not a scratch on it." Well, there will be now. He throws it into the back seat of the car. But why wouldn't they have looked inside of it to see what was in it?
Yeah. Doesn't.
That was the one.
There's a lot of
Doesn't
lacking
story.
common sense in this film.
Chase is
But
so
you never
great.
find out what's in that suitcase.
Nope.
No, they're saving that for Giant Gila Monster 2.
All right, can't wait.
Okay, so after the drunk Horatio Alger Smith swerves off the road from seeing the Giant Gila Monster, Chase talks to him for a minute and is going to help him get out of there.
Is this when the train crashed?
No, this guy is clearly drunk, beyond freaking drunk. Chase legit is like, all right, well, if you're ready to go, go ahead and go. He's going to send this guy back in his vehicle.
But he's got him on the tow truck already. The car's off the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't notice that.
He knew. He
Yeah.
knew he wasn't going nowhere.
The wheels don't turn.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. Okay. Because I was sitting here going, dude, Chase was just going to let him go? Drive off.
Move over, Dad. I want to pass.
Yeah.
The car.
Different
was
times.
standing
Different
up on the
times.
thing.
So Chase takes him back to his shop, and he's able to sleep it off. And you find out when he wakes up that he's a big deal DJ. What was his name? Steamroller Smith. Steamroller Smith.
The disc jockey.
Yeah. He's a big deal. And he tells Chase, thanks him for all his help and says, anything you need, you let me know. And Chase, the good guy that he is, man, is like, nah, you just give me a couple bucks. We're good. And not Steamroller Smith ain't having
and
it.
here's a coffee.
Yeah, two, and he goes, this coffee's $2. I appreciate Steamroller Smith. Just gives him $40. And when Chase takes the money, he's all, $220s? How about that?
But then it was the business card. He gave him the business card. Then he found out who he was.
Yeah.
Then he realized that he was Steamroller Smith.
So now this is when I believe, I don't think I wrote this down, but I believe this is when the sheriff shows up at his shop and is basically saying like he because he's by himself, he doesn't have enough manpower, and that's when he finds out that Chase has taken the tires off of the vehicle.
One, he had one. He gotten one off.
Yeah, he was taking the other one off.
Take the second one off.
Yeah, and the sheriff is like calls him out on it, and like Bub said, yeah, he kind of goes through the sob story again about his sister and everything, and he
goes, Sheriff, now this is just another vehicle out there that's less likely to crash because I got better tires on it now.
Yeah.
To prevent
I think he called them the ball tires. He had a name for him. He called them something.
The Dreamboat.
Yeah.
Chase the Dreamboat,
Jesus
dude.
Christ. Calm down.
So he tells the sheriff, me and the boys, we'll go out and we'll try and find Pat and Liz. We'll do some searching.
Yeah, that's when he brought up the whole headquarters didn't believe him about the tires and
Yeah. This is when
the skid marks.
The skid
Again,
mark,
they were the same kind of skid marks.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now Chase, Lisa, and one of his buddies and his girlfriend all are going searching, and they decide to check the ravine. And when they're walking through the ravine, Chase definitely notices that the brush, like there's been something big through here. He believes a mountain lion was dragging something through there. And my next note I wrote, I love the sound effects for the Gila monster moving, because it sounds like Godzilla is like crashing on the ground,
like giant boulders falling with
the
dust moving.
Yeah, you see sand moving when the Gila monster. It's like making the sound of like boulders falling down, and
But that's also where Chase, he leans down and takes a drink of water. And he's like, oh, God, this water's got some type of chemical stuff in it. And so then you kind of think, okay, so now the Gila monster was drinking that water, and that's why he became giant and all that. Hey, look at this shirt.
Dude, that's a nice shirt right there.
It's a great.
Yeah, it is.
Redbubble.com. You can get your Nerds vs. Evil merch, cups, hats, shirts, magnets, stickers, and coasters.
Merchandising.
Doesn't IGB make all that stuff?
IGB does. And now Chase and company find Pat's car in the ravine, but there's no bodies. So then they decide they hook it up and they're towing it out. And at this point, I look over to my right, and Amber is asleep. I wrote that in my notes. She has officially passed out. She's punched out at this point. It was just too much. The ravine, just like she couldn't handle it.
I was
love
asleep
they
before
still
that.
don't drop the possibility of them running off to get eloped, and that maybe they just crashed the car and ditched it to go
that's their first thing they go to. They could have just, thrown it down there. Oh well,
eloped.
at least Chase
stole it or whatever.
Well, Chase at least said it's possible that they parked it and the brake went out and it rolled down the ravine.
He's the smartest man, without a doubt.
Nobody's concerned for these people. They're just there's all these
They're
things
just kids.
happening.
They run off and do this stuff. Dad, was this happening all the time back then?
Is this what? Yeah, it was actually. It was happening all the time.
You go on a elope.
Vehicles are just found all over the road.
Jesus
Out in the middle
Christ.
of nowhere and see what happens.
So now the sheriff, this I couldn't handle. The sheriff shows up because they have Pat's car, and he starts giving Chase crap because he moved the vehicle. And I'm like, he found the vehicle, and the sheriff could not find it, and he's giving him crap. He asked for his help. Like,
And it was down in the ravine, like
This whole
40
time.
feet down the hill.
yeah.
Yeah, but he was supposed to call, which I don't know. They don't have cell phones.
They don't have
back
cell
then,
phones.
so.
Like,
And he didn't have a dime.
yeah.
No phone out there.
I don't understand like why he's giving him such crap. Like, you should have left it. I could have found clues. Like, he's like, well, we
But it
looked
was-
around.
And they got lucky because when they were doing that, the Gila Monster was just on the other side of the hill there. He was
So
watching.
so now is my absolute favorite death scene in this movie. This Mr. Compton is driving. He sees the Gila Monster whip its tongue out, and he just flips out and drives off the road.
He flipped the truck. He flipped it over.
All he did was, and he like goes, ah!
Wouldn't you?
Very intimidating.
That's when I said poor Mr. Compton.
Yeah, he became barbecue at that point.
But nobody was really too concerned about him after a while either.
Yeah, and okay, so and then now we go to we're at Chase's house, and Lisa brings Chase's sister leg braces, which it's a really cute scene, and Chase is really touched by this because he's struggling financially, and this was a big deal, and it was a really good scene. And this
And
is
by this point,
his girlfriend
like-
actually bought the braces.
that's what I said.
Yeah,
Lisa.
Yeah.
Lisa.
Yeah.
By this point, you're like in love with this character. Like the character development at this point on Chase has been like outstanding.
Yeah, and then for everybody that already was like skeptical of Chase, this is where he wins everyone else over. He picks up his ukulele and he just
Oh my
he
God.
sings this beautiful tune. It is the most
It's
glorious.
not a ukulele. It's like a mini banjo.
It is like a mini band.
It looks like a banjo, but it's a ukulele. That's what I thought.
No way.
I thought it was a banjo. I legit thought it was a banjo.
It's a ukulele?
That's
Yeah, it's a legit ukulele.
yeah.
That doesn't look like one.
Maybe in the 50s they look different. I don't know, but I swear to God, I thought it was a banjo myself.
I thought it was just a mini banjo.
I did too. It is a ukulele.
Oh.
That makes him even more talented.
Goddamn, yeah.
Yeah.
The dreamboat Chase. He
Jesus
sings,
Christ.
and that's when the angels in the sky just like wake up and just everything. He sings about the Lord, and it's really beautiful. It is. You can see just by looking at him. They like shine the light on him, like when he's singing, he's just like it's. We need to put a picture of Chase up here in the sky, right here, just like
It's magic.
it is magic.
He had good makeup day for that scene.
Okay, but the song, and now the song is almost as bad as Small World. You can't get it out of your mind.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It's already on my phone. I downloaded it right away.
All right. Is it sung by Chase?
It is
Is
sung
it
by
Chase?
Chase. That is him. That's him. Dad, they didn't do like the lip syncing back in the day. They had to sing these things. Now we get the sheriff has upset us again because he calls in the middle of the song and we don't get to hear the rest of it. He calls and informs Chase about Mr. Compton, and so they're getting ready to Chase is gonna meet the sheriff, and at this point, Old Man Harris joins up with them, and so it's the sheriff, Old Man Harris, and Chase. They all drive to the wreck.
Oh, this is when the sheriff has the flat tire, right? So they all hop in Chase's car.
Yeah, and it is so funny because the sheriff
I got
almost.
permission to let it rip, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, the guy's going like 90 miles an hour, and they're just sitting there, and their hats are just staying on their heads.
Yep.
Not even moving.
Yep.
Well, they're like flying, then the sheriff leans over, whispers something to him, then you hear the engine like start to like decelerate, like slow down.
So then they get to the wreck, and it's like at this point the sheriff divulges like a major piece of information that he's like kept to himself this entire time. He says, Chase, a lot of livestock has been going missing lately. It's like, what?
You're right. Yep.
Like,
And now it's people.
now there's people. Yeah. So like, dude,
That's when he was like, "Oh, we should get a criminal investigator on the case."
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Yeah. So after they, confirm that it's Mr. Compton in the wreck and all that stuff, the next scene we get, unless I'm missing something, is Old Man Harris driving and drinking again.
Right.
And he sees the train coming, and he takes a swig and fires on the gas to try and beat the train.
He gets the thing. He makes the quick turn and cuts in front of the train.
Yeah, and then
it's like, oh no!
So he cuts in front of the train, and then you see the Gila Monster destroy the bridge that the train crosses.
Right.
That's when Old Man Harris sees the Gila Monster, and he sees the train crash. Now, I think he calls the sheriff, right?
No, he goes back.
He goes back. Okay.
Yeah.
So now at this point, after that happens, the sheriff is talking to Chase at the police station, and he goes, "Chase, have you ever heard of Gila monsters?" Like it's a thing. And that's when
we're not going to talk about the screaming and the Gila Monster getting everybody on the train.
I completely...
after the train wreck.
Yeah, after the train wreck, the Gila Monster crawls all over the train, and you hear people voiceover screams and everything, and
I think this is when he calls Chase and goes, "Hey, you got that book still on lizards?"
You still got that book on lizards? Yeah.
Chase has it all, man. He's got books.
Apparently, Chase should be the sheriff because he's the one that's basically done everything. The sheriff hasn't done anything.
Yeah. So, he does. That's when he starts talking about he was talking to a zoologist.
Yes. And he was informed that there's certain plants that can make reptiles grow larger in size, and he believes that's what's happened.
Is this when he tells him the story about the giant baby in Russia?
The Russian-Ukraine baby, 130 pounds.
If it can happen there, it can happen here. You haven't seen a giant baby, have you?
This is the original Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
Jesus Christ.
This is when the movie starts getting good.
Yeah, because we're about to get to this party. And I don't know where the party is. It's just at a barn, right? Like,
yeah, that's how it went down.
Okay, I just want to make sure Chase didn't own the barn too, because he like it seems like
but he really hated to tell him all this information before the party.
Yeah.
And then he tells him, he goes, everybody was killed. Then he tells him, but go have a good time. Go have some fun.
Yeah, go have some fun, Chase. So they're at the party, and DJ Smith shows up. Chase called in his big favor already. And while DJ Smith is there, that's when there's another scene of the Pat's dad talking to the sheriff, and he's pissed. He's pissed that sheriff hasn't done basically anything, and then he goes and pulls like the ace up his sleeve, and he says, "Well, look at these tires on this vehicle. These are not the tires that were on this vehicle. Pretty sure Chase Winstead has some new tires. That's evidence.
Some brand new white walls.
Yeah, that's evidence. He was tampering with evidence. And he basically says if the sheriff doesn't arrest Chase, that he's gonna ask for the sheriff's badge, essentially.
Jesus.
And then the sheriff did tell him, "You can have it if you want."
Yeah. So then, my next note is I said, anti-hero Gila Monster needs to stop or step on Pat's dad. And at this point, we go back to the party and we find out they're playing this song, and it's a beautiful song. People are getting down, it's glorious. The heavens are opening up. That's how you know. At this point, they announced that it was Chase's song, and he's got a record deal.
Well, it was like, can you guess who this is?
Yeah,
And
like
the guys are going, Elvis, it's Elvis, and everybody else, and then you see Chase is kind of in the corner. His girlfriend is kind of like hiding his head, he's turned away. She spills the beat.
yeah.
What the hell is that?
That's the
Gila
Gila Monster.
Nice.
It's Chase drinking out of the river.
It's pretty bitter.
But then it's like, and then he stops playing the song, and all the kids get all pissed off.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe you can guess who this is. And then they find out it's Chase, and then he's going to come up with song number 2 on the B side.
Yeah.
And we get to hear the song again. Laugh, children, laugh.
And that's when the Gila Monster shows up to the party, and he tries to shove his head through the barn wall. And I feel bad because I think the lizard genuinely got stuck, and they just were like, keep filming it.
Yeah, but it looked good though.
We'll make it work.
It looked like he was struggling to bust through the side wall of the barn,
So
which was good.
Why his head is stuck, the sheriff runs outside and starts shooting him.
Yeah, with a 3-shell shotgun, he fires off about 20 rounds.
And then after he shoots him a few times, the Gila Monster runs off. And that's when Chase is just right away, I know what I got to do. And so he goes to his shop and he gets the nitro. And the sheriff thinks this is the best course of action. He deputizes Pat's dad and says, keep an eye on the kids.
Keep them
No,
all
that's
here
because
at
he
the
was-
barn.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep
That's
it.
because he was hassling him so much. He's like, if you could do a better job, here you go. This is your task.
Yeah. So now Chase has the nitro, and I just want to say he has to be driving a hell of a lot more erratic and crazy than Mr. Compton was driving when he had that.
10
times faster and on a bumpy road.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, be careful, Dad. You don't want to blow up. And then he takes that corner. And he's like, whoa!
And then, so this is super random to me. Is he wanted to go get Missy, but Missy's his sister. I don't know if I said that earlier. But
Yeah, they went to the house.
Yeah, went to the black.
Yeah, they're following the Gila Monster's trail, and it led straight to the house.
okay, and this is after
But
he
he
got
hadn't
the
picked up
nitro, right?
Nitro yet. I don't think he hadn't picked up the nitroglycerin yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the part that's super random to me. Is then they just find Missy in a field. She's just
Running. They're
she's
running.
just out in a random field.
She made it that far on those
She was
bracelets.
crawling,
I
and they
guess,
were
yeah.
trying to
So-
get away from the Gila Monster.
He gets Lisa out of the car and he's like, just stay down. And then comes this has to be the biggest thing in film history, because I don't think this lizard made it past this scene. They legit put a remote control. Let's go over the scene first before I get into what I think happened. Chase drives his car with the nitro in it and just jumps out of it, and it hits the Gila Monster and explodes.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I have to say the explosion for that was better than Lamageddon's. Any of the Lamageddon
that's
ones.
because it was real. It was it was a model, but it was real. And
That's
I
why I
actually
think the
really
lizard
think
died.
I think they put a remote control car and lit it on fire with an M80 or something like that and drove it into this lizard. I legit think they killed this lizard.
They spared no expense.
Tune in next week to see if the lizard actually lived. We'll
And
find out for you.
then they do this weird thing where all of them are like standing there smiling, and it they each get a happy moment, they're oh, Chase, you're gonna be rich now because you got a record deal, and he thumbs up freeze frame. It's really
but he needs to get a
They're
new car, and they said the train company will buy you a new
oh
car.
yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, oh, I'm sure you'll get a new vehicle and everything's going to be great. Lisa's going to get her visa. You know, the sheriff has
His
help
sister's
now
gonna be able
with
to walk.
the
Yeah, they took
sister's
the
gonna be able
badge
to
away from
walk.
Pat's dad because he couldn't even keep the people at the barn.
Yeah, he failed in his one task. So that was it, guys. Gila Monster. I enjoyed this movie. I think if you were to watch it in the 50s, it really is affected by the time, because I could see in the 50s maybe how this was scary. Now it is not. Like my dad said, you could watch this as a family and you would be completely fine. You're not going to be. Like,
Yeah, but watch it. If your kids are asking for a lizard, then watch it.
yeah, that's
But
true.
then they won't want it.
But you got to think about it. But the thing is, that's an actual real thing. It's not the Gila Monster actually exists. So that kind of makes it a little bit different than a makeup monster of some kind.
So
But it wasn't a really big monster.
Before we
It's
get
just
into
a movie.
our star reviews on this, let's dive into a couple reviews that we got. I'm going to start. We got 2 5-star reviews, guys.
Oh,
This one is by
Well, computers weren't out then. How did they get a 5-star review?
this one, 5 stars, is by Greystoke. One of 1959's greatest movies. A great giant critter movie filled with everything you might want in this genre. Totally far out old cars, classic car models for the Gila Monster to walk past, and good action scenes for the era. This movie rates high on my list for schlock giant critter movies.
5 stars.
5 stars. This review is from Robert Van Cleve. The good old days. No lizards were harmed in the making of this movie. Okay, well, no lizards were hurt too awfully bad during the making of this movie.
Look at this podcast.
5 stars.
Oh, that's great.
And now we're going to go to the
I just watered out there.
The 1 star.
1 star review here. This is by Brian Zoner.
And what's the date of his review?
August 27th, 2015.
Okay.
Boring and stupid. I watched this movie expecting it to be awful. In that, I was not disappointed. I was hoping it might be interestingly awful, though. The plot is flimsy, even by drive-in monster movie standards, and the monster is exactly what it sounds like, a Gila monster. No twists, just a lizard crawling around on some sets, not doing anything particularly threatening. If you enjoy Godzilla movies, pass this up. If you enjoyed Reefer Madness because of how goofy it was, this has nothing for you. If you're looking for a movie to throw on in the background while you do literally anything else, at least nothing that is occurring on screen will distract you. 1 star.
Oh, he's not listening to the songs or anything.
So, guys, I won't start with Dad because I've started with Dad a few times. Let's switch it up. I'll start with Bub on the Gila Monster star rankings here.
I'm going to go with a 5 out of 5.
Wow.
wow.
It's a great movie, and I know back then in the that time era, this was the hot ticket for like horror films. It was all the giant monsters and bugs because of the threat of radiation from a nuke and everything. So that was kind of what they went for, was this whole premise of mutation and these giant creatures being created from nuclear fallout and stuff like that. And so that's what it really terrified people back then. So considering that, and it did not take long for me to fall in love with Chase. It's such a cool character. Like right away, I'm just like, dude, this guy is awesome. I want to see more of this. The Dreamboat. And then he sang, and then it was like, wow.
Absolutely.
I was like on 4 stars, and then he sang, and then I'm like, "There's your star."
There it is. The heavens opened up, and there came that last star. Okay, Amber, how many stars?
I feel bad, but I'm like on the opposite end of the spectrum from you guys. I'm gonna have to give it like a 2.
Okay.
Oh my god.
It wasn't a bad film. It just in the realm, like in the scope that we're watching it. Oh, hold on.
Well, you have to actually watch
There
the
you go.
movie in order to.
I did. I watched the rest of it. I did. I watched the rest of it. Just in the scope of what we're watching it for, I just didn't feel like it went with the horror movie stuff that we're watching. I thought it was a good classic film, but I didn't feel like it was a good horror film or a bad, funny horror film. So.
Okay, Chris.
3.5. I was just bored. I think if I probably would have watched it when I wasn't tired, I probably would have liked it more, but it was just too slow. The acting was terrible. Chase is a dreamboat, though. That's the only reason I give it 3.5.
That's how you got the 0.5 for you? It was at 3, and then Chase just put it at 0.5.
Yeah.
Jason's going to be calling me Chase behind closed doors.
I'm going to go with the same score as Martin. I think a 3.5 because I do agree the movie was it was pretty boring to kind of get into, but I do agree with Bub where it's like you have to get in that mentality of because it's a classic horror film. I'm kind of in the middle because it was boring, but if you look at it like a classic horror film, I did enjoy it. The actor that played Chase is freaking phenomenal. I'm surprised we haven't seen him in more stuff.
Because you got to think during that time you had Tarantula, you had them, you know.
Bride of the Atom.
Yes, we know.
This has been the children episode today. I'm just saying.
The kids are making quite an appearance on this episode.
They're fired up after this movie.
They are fired up.
Kids are excited.
Yeah. Dad.
Hey, automatic 5.
5.
I'm falling right behind Bob with that one. Everything, when you think of the time period and what they did, it had the characters. You notice that we talked about every single character other than Chase's mom after she drove his car. But you have Chase, Mr. Harris, the sheriff. You have some good characters, and I really like the fact that they actually used a real animal in order to do all that. And the Gila Monster did a pretty damn good job, I think. So
R.I.P.
We're kind of funny because, like, when the train crashed, first time it crashed it had one engine, and the second time it crashed it had a different engine.
Yeah, I saw that. I noticed that too.
So there's some kind of goofy things in there. But I remember growing up watching that movie, and it was kind of like, holy crap. But then when the guy blew it up with the nitroglycerin, that was pretty freaking cool back then. But if you get a chance, watch it on the Elvira thing. That's pretty funny. She has some great comments that are pretty funny. That was fun.
All right, guys. So the next segment is big budget. What do you guys think? Dad, actually, let's start with Amber. What do you think? Redo this movie with a big budget?
I don't know. I don't think you can really take this kind of concept and bring it into the future. I mean, I know they did it with Godzilla, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think it would do well with the big budget.
No? Martin, what do you think?
Oh, yeah. You get Chris Pratt to play Chase, dude. Gold mine.
I agree. I think you keep the story the exact same. You sink some money into this thing, and I think this would be great. I actually kind of think too, you leave it in black and white to give it that kind of cool feel, And I say you upgrade the Gila Monster and make it like, because the computer effects they got nowadays, it would look fantastic. I think they'd be able to make the death scenes a little bit better. I actually think a big budget remake of this thing would really help it out. Dad, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it would make a difference. Because everything else, things would be so much more detailed. The accidents would obviously be better. The explosions would be bigger, and the sets and everything. Of course, a lot of that would be different. But I enjoyed the original. But if they put some money into that, duplicating Mr. Harris, I think would be a toughie, though.
No, I think
Christopher Lloyd, dude.
Oh my God, Christopher Lloyd. That's pretty good.
Or even like a Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah.
But it could work. It could work.
I almost actually think a Rip Torn would have been really good as
Rip Torn.
Mr. Harris. Bub, what do you think?
Absolutely big budget. Like, just from watching it, I was instantly like, dude, if this was to like get remade, I see like it being like a mix between Fast and the Furious with Godzilla.
Yeah, no,
like how they have their like drag gang, and all that, and how they're a family. I'm like, dude, it's like Vin Diesel talking right now.
Instead of Nitro, they'd have a nuke. They'd be driving around with a nuke.
So
there's a car filled with NOS.
So what you're saying is John Cena could be the new Chase Winstead.
Oh my
Can he
God.
sing?
Yeah, dude.
Can he sing?
I've heard John Cena sing. He's a
Can
rapper.
he sing "Laugh, Children, Laugh"? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he'd be good.
Forget a bunch of stuff.
But they would have to rework the script. I felt like there was just no explanation as to why this Gila monster was there.
Well, that was
what I
what
was going to say.
And there was the stuff in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
If they
built
did
up
big
to
budget,
it.
they would have to definitely show how the Gila Monster became the Gila Monster, which is super easy. Like,
Yeah.
if you can do it with Spider-Man, then
I mean, hell, honestly, they could do
They
it.
did it with Ninja Turtles.
I was gonna say they did
Yeah.
it in a throwaway scene in the Godzilla movie with Matthew Broderick, where it just showed them doing nuclear testing on an island, and there was iguanas on it. I mean, that's easy scene to just do that.
There it is.
There it is. There it is.
Next film.
Guys, the newest segment that we're gonna. This is the first time that we're doing this one. All right, guys. It is. Would Will Smith make this movie better?
No.
yes, because he'd
Yes.
slap the shit out of that Gila Monster.
You're damn right.
Yeah.
If he played Pat's dad and slapped the sheriff, then yes.
Yeah, actually, I think
He's great.
I was actually
That's why I
thinking
handed it.
maybe him as like an old man Harris.
Mr. Harris.
Yeah, he could.
And
Yeah,
everybody, anytime he gets pulled over or talks to anybody, slaps him.
Yeah.
And he talks about getting married.
yeah, that would be good. Yeah, so I vote yeah. I think Will Smith would make this movie
As
better.
long as they don't
I think
cast
Will
anybody
Smith
with
would.
alopecia, they'd be fine.
Oh, guys, now we unveil next week's movie, and it is going to be an exciting one. It is on Amazon Prime for those of you that want to watch.
Okay.
The movie we are going to watch is called Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies. A troupe of professional
gosh.
wrestlers are booked for a private show in an abandoned prison and battle hordes of the undead. Starring Roddy Rowdy Piper, Hacksaw
All right.
Jim Duggan, Kurt Angle, Shane Douglas, and Matt Hardy.
Pro wrestlers
Jesus
versus zombies.
Pro wrestlers versus
real?
zombies.
So now, do a bunch of other wrestlers play the zombies?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
I guess we'll find out.
We will find
Whose
out.
pick is this?
This is my pick.
This is your pick?
This is my pick. Yeah.
Wow.
So, guys, I just want to say thank you guys very much for joining us in our battle against evil this week. We had to go back in time a little bit. We're all in black and white right now if you're watching us on YouTube, which reminds me, if you're watching on YouTube, give us a big thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe. That's right. Yeah, see? And then if you're watching or if you're listening on podcast form, give us a 5-star review. Or like Bub likes to say, give us a 1-star review. We'll read those.
Nothing in between.
Nothing in between. And if you want to help us fight battle on other platforms, you can find us on the Twitter, TikTok, and we have some awesome merch on Redbubble.
Shout out to Elon Musk. You do it, bro.
If
Elon Musk definitely listens to our podcast, 100%.
If you felt like you weren't tortured enough and you want to see more of Amber and myself, you can always check out our YouTube channel where we go and rate and review theme parks at Fast Pass with Us. And we also have a sponsor for the show, IGB Collectible Balls. Right there. If you're looking to do promotions or see what kind of merchandise that's available there, go ahead and check igbcollectibleballs.com. And thanks for joining us, guys. And hopefully we'll see you next week to continue our battle against evil.
Children.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Children.